Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lawn Care CEO podcast. My name is Dan Ralphs. I'm the head coach of the Lawn Care CEO. And today, this is the place where lawn care guys learn to become leaders. On today's episode, we have a very special guest. He's got a Wild West name and an incredible story of how he's grown his company over the last 6 years to a $1.5 million fertilization weed control business. Not only that, but has seen over the last 2 years his company grow by 23% while doubling his net profit. So these are the kinds of stories that I love. It's not about the top line, it's about the bottom line, and he's crushing it on both sides of the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, I get to introduce you to Jason James out of Greenville, South Carolina, from Turf 212. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jason.
Let's go.
I really do. We do need an air horn feature where we can we do air horns right there.
We do.
In addition, we also have the pleasure of having one of our fractional CEOs, Miranda is on the podcast with us today. Now, I should disclose that Jason's been coaching with Miranda for a little over a year now, and so that's why she's here, because she knows behind the scenes of the story as well, and so she can give us some color commentary. Jason, welcome to the Lawn Care CEO podcast.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So, Jason, we always kind of start here with, tell us a little bit of the story. In fact, the first question I have is, tell us about why the name Turf 212. What is that, like an area code? What does the 212 stand for?
So I love this when people ask me this question. Once you get to know me and know who I am, you understand the name behind the story. So 212 is the boiling point of water. 212 degrees. So at 211 degrees,
okay,
you can't do jack squat. But at that one extra degree, water boils, creates steam. Steam powers a steam engine. Steam engine powers a locomotive. And a locomotive can move a mountain. So that one extra degree separates you from everybody else. So you always want to be better than yourself in your competition. So,
that's a beautiful, built-in analogy, isn't it? Where it's like, hey, if we can just be 1 degree better,
you always want to, yes.
Everything will explode.
Yep. You want to be better than your competition.
Have you ever seen the graphic? There's an old graphic that shows a miner digging for gold, and there's this huge vein of gold, and there's the miner that comes within just like a little sliver of it, and then eventually gives up and walks away. And so you just have this understanding of, it's like, oh, if you just went a little further, it would all open up for you. And Jason, I think that's true. I think that there are some business owners who are literally inches away from gold, and they kind of give up. They don't put in that extra degree of effort.
Yep.
And Turf 212. Maybe we should call this the 212 podcast. That would be appropriate. So, Jason, tell us a little bit about your story, and tell us, what are those 1 degree things that have made the difference from when you started to where you are today?
Well, I've been in the business 26 years. I grew up on a dairy farm in Western New York, Buffalo area. Been doing that my whole entire life. Loved it. My grandparents, then moved down here 1999. Just a bag of clothes, and that's it. $1,500 in my pocket and a bag of clothes. That's all I had when I moved down here.
Yeah, man.
Came down here, and then I started working.
It's amazing how that seemed like a doable thing, but in our current version of where we are, that seems like a crazy idea. At the time, it seemed made sense, right?
Yeah. Then I came down here.
And so you got it. How did you get into the business?
I started working for a company called True Green. Of course, everybody knows who they are. So I started working with them, and worked with them for about 12 and a half years. And then I just kept going from there. Worked there for 12 and a half years. Then I had a friend of mine convinced me to come to a company called Gregory Pest Control. So I went to Gregory Pest Control in 2012. Worked there for about 5 years, and I seen where that was going. In 5 years, we did $1 million. Then they were getting ready to sell out to True Green, and of course, I wasn't going back to that. So then I started my own company in 2018. My wife and I did 17, called Pinnacle Turf. Then Gregory came after me with a non-compete clause, and then I just had a friend of mine. He owned a lawn care business, landscape business, and kind of went and worked for him for a little while. And then my non-compete was up in
To
2019.
work out the non-compete. Yeah.
Yep. Then the business was up in
And so 2020 we
2019.
start.
Yep.
What was the
2020 we started
biggest-
Turf 212.
What was the biggest fear, hesitation at that point? You and your wife are going, okay, it's time for us to do something here. We tried it, and in some ways it got kind of squashed, and now we got to try it again. Talk about that that transition moment. I think that's important for the guys who are thinking about it, considering it, but maybe not quite there yet.
It was hard to do that. Yeah, it was a bigger company than me, but what are they going to do? This is my livelihood. This is what I've done my whole entire life. You're going to take that from me and tell me that I can't do it? But I just, I just put my head down and I just said, no, I'm going to do this. And then we just went after it and we just figured it out.
There's some magic in that perseverance, right? That perseverance. I once had a chance to meet. Have you ever seen the movie Rudy? Rudiger?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I met the real Rudy, the actual guy. He now does speeches all over the country, and I've seen him speak a couple of times and had a chance to meet him, and that's his superpower. His superpower was persistence, like of not giving up in pursuit of a goal. And so you have a little bit of that in you where it's like head down, just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yep.
I can't help but think about countless people in the world right now that are at a job that they've been at for 12 or 15 years and think to themselves, I could do this. I could own my own thing. I could own a business in this industry, whatever the industry is. And then they never actually do that. And they could be a very successful business owner, but they never actually take that leap. So I just want to celebrate that in Jason, and I just am so blown away by, the way his brain works and the fact that he got himself to I'm going to go after it. Not only am I going to go after it, but I'm not going to let go until I figure it out.
That's when you're driving around in a truck all day,
you
think about that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jason, 2020, we kick off Turf 212. March me through the years, just top line revenue. We started year one. Where were you at?
Year one, it was me by myself. No, I don't. At that time, I didn't have those numbers. It was me by myself, and I just kept seeing the business grow. At that time, I had a business partner. We kind of decided to go after it. He had a landscape company, so he did pretty much installs, irrigation, hardscapes, everything. And then I really didn't see those numbers, and I was kind of disappointed because I knew the business was growing, and I just didn't see it. I'm like, well, what's going on here? I got to have this, I got to have this, I got to have this. And, then business just wasn't fading out the way I wanted to see. I'm like, doggone, man, here I am. I'm doing everything, pouring my heart and soul into something that I'm passionate about, and I can't see that. And me and Melissa talked about it. I said, man, how am I going to do this? Then one day, one of my customers I met on the yard, and we were just sitting there talking because I asked the guy, I said, hey, what do you do? Because I'm curious, and, hey, what do you do? Well, I'm a banker. I got a question. Help me out here. He pointed me in the right direction, and it was about a year process 2023 of June of 2023, I ended up buying the company from my business partner, Turf 212. At that time, we were $350,000, $400,000 company. I ended up buying everything. I took the trucks. I took everything from the guy for like $45,000. I wrote him a check right there on the spot. Boom, ran with it. Took the employees, left. Got a building within like a week. We had our own place. Now I'm at $1 million company with 7 people and haven't looked back. Like my grandma always says, you got a real
Right, my
view
brain is still
mirror in the
processing,
truck.
Jason. my brain is still processing the idea that you bought a business that was doing 400K for 40 grand. Like, how did that come about,
Yep.
and what did you learn through that process of like, that's kind of those are some magical numbers.
So it was kind of weird how it happened. You know, I knew the guy's heart and his mind wasn't in it. He was just looking at it as another little supplemental income. The guy didn't need the money, you know, and I was just tired, and it was either something was going to give, he was going to give, or I was going to give, and so he gave, and so at his thankness and let me do what I wanted to do, so I took it. I took the trucks, I took the employees, I took the revenue base. I mean, but I also took on the chemical debt at the time too, so that's why he let it go. Because it was only fair, really.
Got it. So, and by the way, Miranda, tell me if you agree with this. This is often the scenario when it comes to a purchase that works out well, Jason. It's like, it's usually some special circumstance. It's rarely just open market. I go buy a company at asking value. At least for us small guys, we probably aren't going to do that. It's usually more, hey, I know a guy who wants to let it go. Aaron just had some version of this happen. Some 70-year-old's like, hey, I'm ready to be done. And you can buy it at a good rate, right?
I agree. I think it's a lot of really the art of negotiation often is when both sides can feel like they're winning, right? The person that sold the business to Jason was kind of over it, but also I'm sure there was some element of having at least peace of mind to know it's going to someone who is really motivated to hang on to it and make it a thriving thing. And when you're at that space, when you've worked so hard to hold on to a business for as long as you have, that is typically on the table in the conversation. You want to feel like your baby, whether you're sick of holding on to it or not, that it's going to be in good hands with the next person.
Yeah,
all right, Jason. So, so this is a good story. We're telling a good story here. So I have us in 2023. In 2023, we buy this business, and that was doing 400K, and then from there, in the next 3 years, we grew this thing to where on track to do 1.5 million this year. How did you do that? What went right? What's the secret sauce to having kind of that explosive growth?
Really, it's just, you just put you just keep to the grind. You just keep swimming and just, it's just, I don't give up. I mean, because everybody wants you to fail. Everybody wants you to fail. Your family and I'm being serious. I've had family members that wanted me to fail. I've had friends that wanted me to fail, but I couldn't. I was not going to fail. I was going to do this because, it was my wife. It was my wife. She's the one who believed in me. She's the one who said, hey, go after your dream. If this is what you want to do it. And she let me borrow $10,000. I had the money. I needed $10,000, and she gave me the $10,000 to buy the rest of the business. So that's how she became 40% owner for 10 grand. Now she's like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
So
this is
we
going
just,
great now.
yeah,
That was a
Yeah.
pretty good investment for her.
yeah. But
I would say too, yeah, I would say too, Jason, if I think about how you've been able to grow it the way that you have, and we talk about different divisions in your business, and when I think about the marketing division in your business, really up until more recently, you're great at building relationships.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how you're able to grow the thing. You do a good
Yeah.
job for people, and that's so core to who you are, where you just build relationships with people. Get out there and talk to people, answer their questions,
Yeah.
be kind, listen, right?
That's the only way to do it. You have to, because this is a rough business. It is. There's days you want to throw the towel in. There's days you wave your hand. I give up. I give up. Find me a cliff. Somebody push me over the cliff. But you can't. I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about this business that just sucks me in and just want me to do it. I guess it's just my mentality and just how I was grown up and being on a dairy farm, because it's just weird because, it's just embedded in me, because I can hear my grandfather tell me, Jason, you've got one thing in this world and it's your name. You do what you want to do with it. You can make something of it or you can drag it through the mud. I never knew that. I didn't know what that meant. I never knew what that meant. Probably till I was like late 30s. I'm like, doggone, that's what that means. Because I've always seen, oh, you're Roger Hawley's grandson. You're Roger Hawley's grandson. Oh, you're Gene Hawley's grandson. Oh, here, man, have a Coke. And here, come on in and have this. I didn't know what that meant. But for 26 years of building the business, I mean, it's your name, it's your reputation. They don't know who the owner of True Green is. They don't know who the owner of, the other company that you're working for. You are the owner of the company. They see you every day out there treating the yard, spraying the yard. So to them, you're the owner of the company. You're the one building those relationships. You're the one that knows Mr. Jim Smith by name and his 4 kids, his dog's name. And so you build those relationships, and over years, people trust you. And that's how I've grown it, is just, hey, call Jason at Turf to 12. Call Jason at Turf to 12. That's how we don't even advertise. It's just word of mouth, is because of you do what you say you're going to do, and you do what you say you're going to do, and you do it. That's what customers want, and that's what customers need.
100%. Well, and this is like an important part of the story, I think, is that, we were chatting before we got on, and you said, and this is the first year I've ever advertised. Like, all of it up to this point, all of the growth. I mean, did you do no door hangers, no yard signs, no like?
The only thing I have done was yard signs. That's it. I mean, technically, you're supposed to. So that's the only thing that we've done.
A nice wrapped truck. Not even that.
I mean, it's not. No, it's not fancy. I don't have a picture on the side of the truck. I don't have a gimmick. I don't have a slogan.
Yeah.
My truck is pretty clean. All it says is family owned, Turf 212, locally owned company with my name and phone number on it. I mean, not my name, but it's got the company's name with the phone number on it. That's all it is.
So if I'm a guy who's at that kind of 400K mark, and if I were listening, I would be super intrigued with how did you grow to $1 million without advertising, right? Without really pushing or spending on marketing. How would you explain that? How that happened? You mentioned part A was, hey, I took care of my guys. I showed up when I was expected to show up. I built relationships with those clients. Was there anything else going on that maybe helped us build the brand?
Breathe the brand. Breathe it, live it. What I mean by that, I'm not going to tell you, go get a Turf 212 tattoo across your neck or across your forehead. No, I mean, it's just like,
Hey, Jason, I don't know, Jason, if you're really living the Turf 212 brand until the tattoo happens on your neck. Until the neck tattoo happens, we have not fully, we have not fully become the brand. So when the neck tattoo happens, Jason, I'll believe you're breathing Turf 212.
so
Jason, you've said to me,
go ahead.
you've said to me many times, like your best advertising is your lawns, right?
Yeah.
It's like we just do a good job. We
Yep.
make the yards look good, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's got to be another big part of it for you.
that's your stamp of approval. So long story, during high school, I was a cook through high school. Loved it. Nice restaurant, fancy restaurant, when everybody comes in and says food was amazing, food was good, that makes you feel really good, make you feel happy. So that's your business card. When you go out there, you spray that yard, you leave a great impression with the customer, you leave a great impression on the yard, green-free yard, no weeds, that's your stamp of approval. You put that sign in the yard, you gave that customer 212% when you left that house. At the end of the day, I beat this into my guys' heads. I mean, we beat it. I don't look at it as clients. I don't look at it as customers. Everybody asks me, how many customers do you have? How many clients you have? And I tell them none. They're like, huh? I said, I don't have no customers. I don't have no clients. Lowe's, Home Depot has all the customers you want. Attorneys and doctors, they have clients. Me, I have 1,200 employers that I work for. Those customers pay me a service to go out there to their yard to give them what they want, what their expectations are. They can fire me at any time that they want. So that's what my guys beating to their head. Yeah. And I tell them, say, hey, yeah, you wear my uniforms, you drive my truck, I pay you, at the end of the week, but at the end of the day, you work for Sam Jones. If Sam Jones is not happy with that yard, you better go back out there and you better fix Sam Jones's yard. That's your responsibility.
Yeah, I hear that. I love the analogy, by the way. I think that's a really brilliant analogy because when you think about what makes a restaurant special, a restaurant's special because of the food. And if the food is good, it's going to get around. Like word has way, we talk to each other. And I've always said that there are two different ways that people will find lawn care businesses and two ways only. If they wake up in the morning, they want to find a lawn care business or one of two ways. And by the way, I do think it's gender specific, but haven't done any research on it. I think that women will ask friends and neighbors who they like, and that men will Google it. And so, which is weird. But so if you can make massive headway by being the best food in town, to be, diners, drive-ins, and dives, for you to be the dive, that you can be the dive. But if your food is really, really, really good, word gets out and word spreads. And in this case, food being really, really good is two things. One is the grass is super green. And by the way, and then I put a yard sign in it. And every soccer mom walking their dog by that yard sign is going, man, their grass is greener than mine. Darn it.
Yep.
And if we're slightly greener than the neighbor, that literally is the saying. The grass is greener. Like we're jealous of the neighbor's grass. That is like written into the DNA of Americans, is that we're jealous of our neighbor's grass. And so if you can be the enviable grass, like all of a sudden we now have an opportunity to really do great work. And that's, by the way, why the yard sign is such a powerful thing, because essentially what we're saying is, let me show you my work, and then I'm going to sign my name in the corner of the painting. And so everyone knows that's a Monet. And the difference between a Monet and a not, it's like, if you don't sign your work, man, you're probably either ashamed of it or you're not doing it right.
100%.
I think it's a great lesson. Especially for the smaller guys who we often get excited about the more, fun ways to think about marketing. They want to dabble in digital stuff and ads and SEO. And I don't mean to say that those things don't matter at all, but you certainly can get too far ahead of it, start to play a bigger marketing game than your business really needs. And Jason's a great example of, I think the way he talks about it, like your yard is your business card, is such a beautiful way to think about that idea. If you stay in that mindset of like, just do a great job for people, like connect with your customers, put a yard sign in so they know it's you, and do that. Like ride that wave for as long as you can before you get too excited about next level marketing ideas.
Yeah. You got to get your customer. I'm a firm believer on trust. You got to get your customers to trust you. Show them that you care. Take that initiative step. I mean, you're there. They pay you for a service. Talk to Miss Jones. Help her carry the groceries into the house. Help her adjust her lawnmower. But I think what's unique for me, what's different is they're intrigued by what the Turf 212 stands for, but they believe it because they know who I am, because I've been in the industry for a long time, and they see me and, oh my God, yeah, I remember you. I used to treat my yard. I mean, you never want to burn any bridges because you don't know. I mean, customers cancel you, employers cancel you. I've got 4 of them on my desk today where I used to treat their yards 2 years ago. They canceled. They said that it was a financial reason or they were going to do it themselves. That's what their cancel reason was. Well, because they're always window shopping. I've got 4 of them on my desk that they want to come back because they tested the waters and they don't get what they get from the other companies.
Sure. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. And I'll like anchor back to something you said just a second ago, but it is about, like, when you think about the experience you get at a dentist's office, or you get an experience at like who you recommend or refer from a service-based business. First of all, like, it needs to do whatever it's designed to do. Like, if I leave with my teeth not feeling clean from the dentist, I'm not there. I have a real estate agent that I love. His name's Brian Judy in the Phoenix Valley, if anybody needs a real estate agent. But Brian Judy, literally, it's the things he did that were outside of real estate that made me recommend him. It wasn't the real estate stuff. He was good at it. He was competent. I don't know enough to know if he's good at real estate stuff. But what Brian did is he built a personal relationship with me. Literally a few months ago around Christmas time, he knocks on my door. I haven't bought a house from him in like 3 years, or interacted with him in 3 years. We've had this house for 3 years. And he knocked on my door. I get up for my Saturday college football. I open the door and Brian's standing there. I haven't talked to him, seen him. He's just standing there. He's got a big Christmas wreath. Probably cost him what I imagine would have been $50 to $100. It was a big amount of money. And he's standing there with this big Christmas wreath. He says, "Hey, Dan, good to see you. I just wanted to wish you Merry Christmas. I'm delivering Christmas wreaths." Well, that has nothing to do with him being a good real estate agent. Zero. Nothing at all. There's zero like correlation between delivering Christmas wreaths and being good at your job at real estate. But it's because of the thing he did that wasn't, it's the carrying in the groceries. It's bringing the trash can up to the curb. It has nothing to do with taking care of grass that makes me want to refer him in a big way. And that's such a simple idea to say, what's one thing that we could do different? I have one company I work with that says they're a mowing company. We pick up sticks. And it's a simple little thing. Or we turn off the mower. We turn and wave at anyone who's walking by. We always turn off the mower. And it's just those little things, right, that can make the difference, that can be the last degree of the 212.
Play with the dog. You get there. I mean, everybody's got a dog. I mean, I'm a dog person. I mean, take a minute. I'll throw the ball with the dog, and the customers see that. Oh, wow. Hey, can you adjust my irrigation system? Yeah, I think I can figure that out. Adjust that irrigation system. Help her carry the groceries into the house. I mean, it's the little things like that. This is crazy. I've had some customers of mine that's been 26 years. They've been with me for 26 years. They followed me because they know what kind of person I am. Had one guy passed away. I sent her flowers, went to the funeral, very, very good friend. And I walked up to her. I said, Millie, don't worry about the service. I got you. I'll take care of it because I know how much Jim loved his yard. I'll take care of your service for the next 6 months until you get everything taken care of. Really? I said, yes, ma'am, I've got you. It's those little things like that. I've had a lot of clients that have been with me for 3-4 years where they lost a significant other or lost a child.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Aaron, for
it
heaven's
doesn't cost
sakes,
us.
Aaron was a pallbearer at one of his clients' funerals.
Yeah.
And he always jokes. He's like, she wanted me to let her down one more time, like, but
Love it.
But it is in many ways a relationship game, and you want to transition from being a lawn care guy to being my lawn care guy, and that comes at some level with some kind of relational moment where it's like, I have a relationship, I know your name. This is why we recommend, when you can, you have the same guy service the same property every time, because they can have an opportunity to build a little bit of a relationship. Because it's easy for me to fire Turf 212, but it's hard for me to fire Dave or Francisco or whoever, right? It's hard for me to fire him because if we have a relationship, he knows my dog's name. He's brought my trash can up to the curb a couple of times. I just really like him as a person. Then all of a sudden we have the opportunity to be referred. Like, I got a great guy. And that's even what we say. We don't say I've got a great company. We say I got a great guy. So we got to become the guy. Yeah.
That's where my wife, and Miranda will tell you, my wife will get so doggone mad at me because my phone does not turn off. My phone is on 24/7. I'll get a customer that will text me on Mother's Day at 8 o'clock at night. Jason, my yard's not green. I'll be there tomorrow. Melissa say, Jason, you got to turn that phone off. It's just hard for me to do that because, I care about my customers and I want to make sure that they get it, because they know that they can pick up the phone. They'll call me because they know I will be out there to fix the problem immediately.
Yeah.
And that's what they like. And
we'll eventually coach you out of having your cell phone at all, because we'll have a company call that we can take care of it. There'll be somebody else taking care of that, because we can't do that kind of personal touch and service if we build the right culture. All right. I want to shift gears here for a minute, because there's another part of the story that I really want to understand. And that is, you had a pretty nice transition as far as net profit from 24 to 25. And that net profit growth to me is like, a lot of times where companies are just hanging on and not really thriving is when they are in that like sub 10% net profit, which means you're basically paying any debt service and then having a few bucks left in the bank. Talk to me about what you did, what changed to get you to go from that, I won't give exact numbers, but a sub 10 number to north of 15.
Oh, just put my head down and just grind it. And just, okay, what are we doing? What can we do? What can we do differently? The biggest thing, what I can say, what really helped me this year moving forward, what has really helped me was anybody that I sold that got on service this year, credit card on file. I am not being a bank no more. Last year, it was hard trying to collect those payments because you turn around and you get the payments, in the software that you use, Spray. I'm going to shout out to Spray. Great software. Love it. Piece of cake to keep track of your money. Last year, we were just chasing money down. I would have 20, 30 people on hold every month. They wouldn't, we had a $5 late fee. They would disregard that $5 late fee. They would eventually pay. So I said, okay. I did okay. Whoever puts a credit card on file, it doesn't matter how big the yard is. They get their first visit half off, 50% off. It doesn't matter if you got an acre, you're paying $300 an acre, you get your first visit at $150. Boom. Automatically. So then what I came back and did is that if you were more than 30 days late, you had a 20% late fee. Oh, that stopped. I average maybe 5 people on hold every month, because those are the people, older people, who don't have emails or nothing else like that.
Yeah. We, there's an old saying that says, that which we tolerate, we endorse.
Yep.
So if we tolerate late payments, it's sort of us saying it's okay, right? Which it's not okay. But at the end of the day, credit card is the way to go. I love that.
Yep.
Miranda, what would you add?
Yeah, I think the operational stuff made a big difference. That was a big part of the shift. Understanding his cash flow and what was happening there, and the credit cards were the biggest piece of that conversation for us. And it was a bit of a fight to get to a spot where now we feel like, hey, there's a few people who send us a check, but it's, Miss So-and-so who's been doing it forever and ever, and she's on time, and we don't have the heart to tell her we won't help her anymore, right? But for the most part, his customers have a credit card on file, so understanding cash flow and getting that under control was a big part of it. That also saves businesses a lot of time and money that you don't really think about first, like right away. You don't think about it right away, how much time it takes the person in the office to constantly be thinking about how many people are behind and when she needs to reach out to them again, and making sure we can get to the bank, or like all of that stuff. It also is a bit of an energy suck, so that also made a difference. The other thing that I think,
just comment on that.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Even if it takes an hour a week.
Right.
An hour a week is like 5% of your time in a 40-hour week, right? It's like a major amount of time. If you have 40 hours and it's taking you an hour, like it's a big chunk of time compounded over the year. Now, much less, because if you're driving to deliver the check to the bank, you're driving back, and that's a 30-minute round trip, and then I got to go talk to Mrs. Johnson and get that collected. Like it turns out to be a half a day a week where you're like, and it's for 4 clients or 8 clients. It's just, man, it's a big expense. You better really like Mrs. Johnson. I had one client, I was literally in an annual planning meeting with them, and we got a knock on their office door, and it was the neighbor who walks his check over. And of course he interrupts our meeting, wants to chat for 30 minutes. And I'm like, holy mackerel, this one guy just cost this company $500 in time and time invested. Now, to your point, Jason, it doesn't mean we don't care for the people. I'm just saying we want to understand and be strategic about when we do that and how we do that and how much it's costing us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what really got me on track of June of last year, and I thank Miranda for this, I really do. What really got me on track, I had an issue with an office manager. Me and Miranda talked about it, because I didn't know what to do. And she said, Jason, just cut those ties. The best thing that I ever did for me to really understand my business for 8 months. I thought I was going to beat myself up. 8 months, I sat in this office understanding what goes in, what comes out, everything. I was too busy in the weeds understanding it. So me and Miranda talked. She said, Jason, stop. I did. I said, okay, here it goes. As soon as I did it, wow, everything started falling.
Did it meaning fired that employee?
Fired that employee. As soon as I fired that employee, everything just started falling into place, because she didn't care as much as about the business as I did. As soon as I got in there and started seeing everything, Miranda can tell you, you could start to see everything pick up. It was like, wow. That was hard. That was hard for me to do it. But then all of a sudden, it was so much easier. Then I was like, okay, Miranda, I'm 8 months doing this. Something's got to change. I got to get another person in here. She's like, okay, you got to wait to April. You got to wait to April. I said, I don't know if I can wait to April. She said, you got to wait to April. I don't know if I can. So I kind of pleaded. I made it to March. We pleaded, we begged, we made it to March, and then I got a great office manager in here now. She cares about the business. When I say she has my back, she has my back 100%. Nothing goes unnoticed without going through her.
And what else that did for Jason is it created a pocket there. It created a void in his business when we no longer had somebody sitting in that seat. And what Jason and I decided to do was he was going to fill that role for a while. He was going to actually take on the office manager stuff because we were feeling hesitant to hire the next person because Jason felt like, I don't even know what to tell them to do. Right? Like, I don't even know how this is supposed to go. I don't have SOPs in place. I don't really know, the back end of a lot of the things that are happening in my business. And that's the other reason why sometimes business owners hold on to a team member that isn't necessarily the best fit for their business because they're afraid of what comes next. But they're the only person who knows how to pull the reports or whatever it might be. And so I just basically sat with him during that phase in between. We're just talking about office manager stuff. And we're going to dive in and we're going to get on calls with Spray, or we're going to click into QuickBooks and we're going to look at our numbers. And we're in the trenches doing that work together for a few months. And it just really helped Jason actually understand the operations side, like the admin side of his business. And once he knew how much time was being wasted there, that made a big difference in his growth. And the other thing that did is that showed you, Jason, it gave you a line of sight from where you were at the time and where you wanted the business to be. So the other thing that I would say made the biggest difference for your net profit change, even though I don't know if you would use these words, Jason, but the other thing that made a big difference was clarity of vision, having a vision for your business and knowing where you wanted it to be. And that enabled you to be more clear on what was the work you needed to do and what things to say no to. Right? Quite often, that's how we save money. How we save money a lot of the times is not fun, smart, strategic decisions. It's just saying no when we kind of want to say yes because it could be fun. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, business budgets a lot like personal budgets, right? We don't miss on our personal budget because we buy too many potatoes. We miss on our personal budget because I went golfing 8 times this month, right? That's where we miss on our personal budget. So in a similar fashion, right? Just to be disciplined, say no to the things that are not important, so we can say yes to the things that are really important. Really makes sense. So Jason, we're talking a little bit about we're kind of I'm hearing these moments between you and Miranda where we're going back and forth and we're figuring things out. Talk about that relationship and having a coach and how that's been for you over the last year and a bit.
Yeah, it was kind of hesitant because I really didn't know what to do. But when we came to Boston in 24 for the class up there at the boot camp, that's, when I got there, brought my wife and we were talking about that. And, we were just sitting in the chair one day and I said, well, what do you think? I looked at Melissa and said, well, what do you think?
And Jason, said, I'll interrupt you only to say, for those who are listening before June of 2026, we do have 2 events. Go to our website to be a part of a boot camp like he was part of. Little promo, because we do have events, 2 events in June. We have one in August. The Harold's Business Boot Camp series that we teach is fantastic, so go attend. But you were saying, we sitting with your wife, you're saying, all right, we probably, should we do this?
Yeah, and she said, should we do this? Because I knew, not everybody is going to, want to be a business owner. Everybody wants to be a business owner, but nobody really knows how to do it because, so I said, okay, what do I do? So I said, okay, let's pull the plug. And I had to take that deep breath and swallow my pride and say, okay, I need help. So then we had that conversation. You and I had that conversation. And then lo and behold, I get Miranda. I'm like, oh, great. Okay, here we go. She doesn't know nothing about my business. Great. Okay, this is going to be interesting. But no, it was the best decision I have ever did. And I tell Miranda that all the time. I look at her as, as one of my business partners because she has really helped me and guided me. We've laid all this out. We've got this out. We've made a vision for the business, what we want to do, how we want to do this, where we want to go, where we want to be in 10 years. I got 10 more years in this young body and I'm gone. I don't know what I'm going to do in 10 years. Well, I know what I'm going to do in 10 years. So I'm just trying to get it ready for 10 more years. I'll be 61 and we'll figure out what we're going to do.
I love it. And so obviously we appreciate the promo and congratulations to Miranda for being a great coach. But one of the things that I think I'm hearing as a through line in the last two bits that we've had here. So we talked about, hey, I had the wrong office manager in place. I replaced that office manager with a new one, and man, wind in the sails. I didn't have a coach. I was the, there's an old saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I was the smartest person in the room. And so I had to go find a smart person to come be in the room with me so I could be in the right room again. There's this shift in a mindset shift that has to happen in order for you to be a great CEO. And the shift is this. This is about who I get on the team, not how I get things fixed.
Yep.
It's like, how do I go gather onto my team the very best talent possible? And then we can figure out a game plan that works. But barring that talent, it's going to be very hard to win. And that's true from technician all the way up through, your business coach or your board of directors. Like, you got to go figure that out. And so, like, to me, like, you wouldn't, like, if you're an NFL team, I don't care how good your scheme is. I don't care how good your offensive coordinator is. Although those things really matter. What matters is, do we have talent surrounding that can go execute that scheme? And so I love that for you because it's going to continue to be true. And in fact, the bigger you get, the more important it becomes, because pretty soon we're going to hire people that are way smarter than you that are going to report to you, and it becomes a totally different dynamic.
So I got a question for you. Let me see how smart you are.
All right.
So think about this for a second.
I shouldn't be nervous.
Think about this for a second. Turf. Do you know what turf really means? So this is my business in a nutshell. Turf. This is what we live, okay? Turf stands for tenacious. U, unwavering. R, resilience. F, family. Every single day, that is my motto. We do not give up. We will not quit. We will not throw in the towel. You're always going to get a curveball thrown at you. There's a lot of people who want to give up, throw in the towel, and do that. But if you have to figure out unwavering, you have to come through the end to fix the problem. You always got to have a solution for the solution before the solution becomes a problem. That is my business every single day. That's how we
are those your core values?
Yes.
Oh, I get it. Tenacious, unwavering, resilient family are these kind of core things about you. And I can already know the answer to this question, but like, the magic of core values is not that we name them. The magic of core values is that we live them. and we
Yep.
live them every day. It's like, I remember talking to a leader in our company where we were very values focused. And I said, how do you remember to keep the core values? And he had the best response. He goes, I don't know how not to. And that's how I feel you are with these 4 values. It's like, I don't know how not to be tenacious, unwavering, resilient, and family oriented. I just don't even, I wouldn't even know what that would look like. It's impossible. And that's kind of where the values have to sink in at that level, especially if you're the owner. They can't be maybes or aspirations. They have to be 100%. This is who I am. And anyone who is not this does not belong in my organization. Right? It's like
100%.
we just
100%.
don't really tolerate anything other than this.
I don't need no drama. That drama can stay out the door. This ain't a kindergarten class. We're all adults. Let's come to work. Let's have fun.
100%. 100%. All right, Jason, this has been an incredible podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your passion and energy. We love what you're doing at Turf 212, and it feels like it's all up and to the right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Lawn Care CEO podcast. Again, my name is Dan Ralphs, head coach of the Lawn Care CEO, and as always, go do more.